Imagine this. You open your eyes tomorrow morning with laser focus, steady all-day energy, and habits that actually stick for once. Not because you summoned superhuman willpower, but because your room, your desk, and your entire living space are engineered to make those outcomes the easiest path. What if the biggest barrier to your performance, your focus, and even your natural testosterone levels isn't inside your head? It's the physical layout surrounding you right now. In 2026, willpower is a losing battle. Your brain is hardwired to conserve energy and take the path of least resistance, but today's world has weaponized that wiring with infinite dopamine hits from devices optimized to hijack your attention. Every time you resist the urge to grab your phone, you burn through your limited cognitive resources, pushing your sympathetic nervous system into overdrive, elevating cortisol, and crashing your dopamine baseline. The brutal counterintuitive truth: the men who seem the most disciplined actually have the weakest willpower muscles. They don't need them. They've redesigned their environments so peak performance requires zero internal fight. They made excellence their default setting by letting their architecture do the heavy lifting. This changes everything for your biology. When you reduce constant micro-stresses, you improve sleep architecture, entrain your circadian rhythm properly, enhance vagal tone for better nervous system regulation, boost insulin sensitivity, and lower chronic inflammation. Testosterone isn't something you force with pills or endless grinding. It emerges as a downstream feedback signal from a body that's actually recovering. Enter the friction reversal framework. This is my proprietary system with 4 pillars: audit your hidden drains, obstruct the bad paths, prime the good ones, and anchor everything into a holistic ecosystem. By the end, you'll know exactly how to turn your home into a performance machine that works with your nervous system instead of against it. But first, you need to see why your current setup is silently sabotaging you. Let's run the friction audit together. Stand up right now and mentally trace your first 60 minutes after waking. Where does friction hide? For most men, the phone sits on the nightstand. That glowing screen delivers notifications before you've regulated your morning cortisol response. It fragments your sleep architecture the night before, keeping you in shallow stages instead of deep restorative ones. Result? You wake wired but tired, elevated sympathetic tone, poor parasympathetic recovery, and a dopamine system already seeking quick hits. This is the invisible friction tax. Those tiny environmental cues add up, taxing your metabolic health, increasing inflammation markers, and making deep work feel impossible by midday. Apply the reverse 20-second rule. Make destructive habits inconvenient. If scrolling is one tap away, it's effortless. Charge your phone across the room or in another space entirely, and suddenly it demands movement that breaks the impulse. Here's the mini case scenario that hits home for so many. You wake wired but tired. Your heart is racing, focus is foggy. You reach for the phone instinctively. Hours later, your energy crashes hard. Why? Notifications disrupted your circadian rhythm overnight. Poor sleep architecture meant suboptimal growth hormone and testosterone signaling during the critical overnight window. Your vagal tone stayed low, keeping you in low-grade stress mode. The decision tree is your new operating system. If you find yourself doom scrolling first thing, then your bedroom fails the audit. Move all devices out by 9 p.m. If your mid-morning energy tanks, check your workspace. Is it cluttered with visual noise spiking unnecessary cortisol? Clear it and dedicate the zone. If evenings dissolve into low-value consumption despite good intentions, your living room layout makes bad habits too easy. Time to obstruct. Most optimizers miss this. Your environment isn't neutral. It's constantly voting for your behavior. Time to vote back. With the audit complete, Pillar 2 and 3 of the friction reversal framework kick in. Obstruct and prime. Strategic obstacle placement means making low-value activities physically annoying. Put your phone in a timed kitchen lockbox that doesn't open until after your deep work block. Relocate entertainment systems to a guest room or basement so accessing Netflix requires walking across the house, breaking autopilot. This isn't restriction for its own sake. It preserves your nervous system regulation by reducing decision fatigue. Your prefrontal cortex stays fresh for what matters. Now prime the path of least resistance. This is where trigger cascades come alive, one small environmental cue sparking a chain of high-performance actions. Set up your deep workstation the night before. Notebook open to tomorrow's top priority, headphones ready, a specific blue light blocking setup if needed, and a large water bottle pre-filled with electrolytes. The moment you sit down, momentum builds naturally. Adopt zone purity. Each area serves one primary high-output function. Bedroom for sleep and recovery only. No work, no screens after sunset to protect melatonin and circadian alignment. Kitchen counter always shows prepped proteins and vegetables to nudge better choices supporting insulin sensitivity. Dedicated movement corner with your shoes, resistance bands or mat always visible and ready. Specific timing sequences make it automatic. Within 10 to 20 minutes of waking, hit your prime sunlight and movement zone near a window or outside door. Natural light exposure sets your circadian rhythm, optimizes the cortisol awakening response in a healthy way, and triggers a clean dopamine release without artificial spikes. Before training sessions, your pre-stage gym area activates the cascade, bag by the door, playlist queued on a separate device. Evening wind down, dim lights at 8:30 p.m, read physical book in a specific chair, cues that downregulate sympathetic tone and prepare deep sleep architecture. The counterintuitive part most miss. You're not building discipline. You're removing the need for it entirely. The final pillar, anchor, turns isolated tweaks into the ecosystem of default excellence. Your entire home functions like an extension of your biology, a secondary nervous system guiding you toward optimal output. Install smart lighting that gradually brightens with cool tones in the morning to support alertness and gradually warms at night to signal parasympathetic dominance. Set your thermostat to drop a couple degrees in the evening, a proven way to improve sleep depth and overnight recovery. Audit the full stack. Digital environment matters too. Use physical and software barriers so notifications don't hijack your vagal tone. Design your social spaces around performance. Suggest walks or training instead of sedentary hangs to reinforce metabolic health and reduce inflammation. When everything aligns, the holistic payoff hits different. Consistent environmental design leads to better overall recovery, which shows up as stable energy, sharper focus, improved mood regulation through optimized dopamine baseline, and yes, higher natural testosterone as your body registers lower chronic stress and better sleep architecture. It's not direct causation, but the correlations are strong and well documented in performance physiology. Your body stops fighting an uphill battle against its own surroundings. Inflammation comes down, insulin sensitivity improves. You operate from a regulated nervous system where discipline feels effortless because the system is designed for it. Start implementing the friction reversal framework today. Pick your highest friction zone: bedroom, workspace, or kitchen. Run the audit, obstruct the pools, prime the winds, and anchor it in. Reconfigure your space to rewire your biology. Let your environment do the heavy lifting. Make excellence your default setting, because in the end, your surroundings aren't just background. They're the invisible architect of who you become. Design them right, and the highest version of you isn't a struggle, it's inevitable.